Now we're recording. Man, it feels good.
Man, it feels good to be back on it. If anyone knows what rap song that's from, you win 10 points and I will send you a book.
They don't know. 10 points and a review.
Mm-hmm.
Last month was the biggest month ever of Seeking Wisdom, which is amazing.
Easy, don't tell this.
I'm not going to tell them what the number is, but it was amazing. And so we're going to invest more in Seeking Wisdom.
All right.
That has nothing to do with what we're talking about today. I want to talk
They're
about...
listening.
I want
Did
to talk
you hear
about...
that? They're listening.
They are listening. Shh. Everybody has a podcast now.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Listening.
But they all talk about tactics. All right. So I want to talk about this concept of limiting beliefs.
Uh-oh.
I want to talk about limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
There's something that we've been talking about lately that I want to talk about specifically. But I want you to, you've been dealing with me for 2.5 years now.
Wow.
Limiting beliefs has been like a key thing that I've had to break through. Other people have had to break through. So maybe we just talk about it.
I have to break through.
You have
Everyone
to break
has
through
to break through.
And I mean, how many times have you sent texts to like management team at Drift and about limiting beliefs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
weekly.
What does that mean?
Mm-hmm. So what does limiting beliefs mean? So
they're lies.
They're lies that we tell ourselves. And so I send them to our team. I send them to myself. And I think it's probably the one silent killer that prevents all of us from hitting the potential that we're capable of. And there's no one in this room, none of us here who have hit 1/10 of our potential, right? And limiting beliefs are these kind of lies that we tell ourselves that we can't, that there's this artificial ceiling of what we're capable of, right? And like I said, none of us have hit 1/10 of what we're capable of. But we start to believe over time these limiting beliefs. Like we tell ourselves like, oh, okay, this is the fastest we can run. This is the best, best we can build. This is the, most weight I can lift. This is the most revenue we can sell. This is and we tell ourselves those lies. And I'm always trying to break us of those limiting beliefs because guess what? Once you start to think about them, then you will play right into those, right? And you will probably go below the limiting belief, right? And you will not actually achieve your potential.
I think that is the most important part, which is you then play into what you say is going to happen.
Self-fulfilling.
So this is something we talk about. This is why we set crazy ass goals.
Mm-hmm.
This is why it turned into a joke, but it's actually dead serious when you say like 10x the goals, right? Like, and people tweeted us all the time, like 10x, up the goals, 10x the goals or whatever. And it's funny, but it's actually dead serious.
It's true.
Because
when you've seen it play out, right?
Every time.
When we do it, everyone's like, uh-oh, how are we going to do that? We can't do it.
I mean, we have this conversation every month, like from a sales and marketing perspective, right? Just to talk tactically about the business, like whatever number we forecast, we hit.
Yes. Magically.
Always.
Even though we forecast, when we're forecasting, we're like, this is impossible.
Right.
It cannot be hit.
But if someone in that room says whatever the goal is, we're going to hit that goal.
And if they introduce a limiting belief, then I'm quick to jump on that limiting belief. And there's so many of these limiting beliefs that we tell ourselves. These are the lies that we each tell ourselves. And the hard thing is that they creep in. They happen no matter how hard you try and no matter how aware you are of this kind of concept, they will creep in naturally. And so you have to fight these every day. And it never ends. The fighting never ends. I set limiting beliefs for myself every day.
So there's one specifically I want to dive into in a second, but so how do you, is it just reframe yourself to understand like this is a limiting belief? I don't have to agree with this.
I think the easiest way is to look at other people and what they're capable of. And that's why we talk so much about role models, because then it resets your context. Then you say, hey, they're human too. They're able to achieve 100x of what we're talking about, right? And one of the limiting beliefs that we've talked about is like, well, I don't have enough time. It's not possible. And, one that I always come back with is like, well, Elon Musk or whoever you want to use as an example, Kobe Bryant or choose a person or has as many hours in the day as us, but somehow they're able to do all of this stuff. And so how are they able to do that stuff? Maybe you can't achieve exactly what they've done, but you can probably achieve more than you think is possible if they're able to achieve these superhuman things.
Everything that you've talked about. It's role models, it's pattern matching.
Yep.
So I can't tell you how many times, like for people listening, I can't tell you how many times we've been caught on an email thread or some internal discussion, and you just like you're just like, hold on. We are not the first company or people in the world trying to do X.
Never.
And that could be something about hiring, something about managing, some goal internally, right? So that to me has been number one. Is like, oh yeah, you're right. So first, I'm going to drop what I'm doing, and like, who are the benchmarks? Who are the patterns? What else can we go
out
find?
there. Go outside yourself. Go outside your social circle. Go find the real benchmarks out there on how they're able to do it. So to recast what's you're possible of. I gave a talk recently. I gave a lot of talks recently. I don't remember where this talk was, but someone...
that's the most DC thing I've ever heard.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Don't know. Somewhere at some point, I did this talk recently.
Good.
And they were asking me about background, and basically they were trying to ask me shortcut, like they didn't come out and directly ask me, but they were like, well, how do you achieve certain things, or how do you achieve... I think he was coming at it from a financial standpoint. And I said, look, the thing that I've discovered now and why I spend so much time talking about this stuff is like I'm trying to help people shortcut some stuff because I made all these mistakes. I am the king of pride and the king of limiting beliefs, and I've made all the mistakes, and so now I'm trying to help others correct that and save some years of their lives. I said, look, the way I think about like my own history is that I'm the Forrest Gump of this thing. Right, like, and if you don't know Forrest Gump, go Google that. Danielle, DHD is in the room here. She's too young to know what Forrest Gump is.
She knows.
Yeah, she's young. She's like, what? Was
she's
Forrest
in
Gump?
Film.
Yeah, she's in film, but she's young.
Okay.
And in Forrest Gump, if you know the movie, Forrest stumbles his way into all of these extraordinary opportunities and gets to meet all of these characters throughout history. And I said, my own progression is exactly Forrest Gump. I just stumbled my way through, right? And then all of a sudden I was around new role models, new situations, new opportunities. And then I played to the average of those people. And then after that, then I would stumble upon another group and then another group. And it just so happened each one of those groups were following a progression. And I've kind of stumbled my way that way. Why? Because I had these limiting beliefs because I didn't have role models. I didn't have Google to go Google something. I didn't have YouTube to go look at Jim Rohn and his lessons or whoever you want to take lessons from.
Jim Rohn, Grant Cardone, like stuff you're
Jeff
sending
Bezos,
now.
all that kind of stuff. I didn't have any of that stuff. It wasn't accessible, so I had to stumble my way through. But guess what? You're all lucky now. If you're listening to this, you have access to all of that. So you should not be the Forrest Gump of this. You should be able to shave 10 years at least.
Yeah. And that ties everything back to learning, right? That's why it's not that we talk so much about that because it works, right? It's going to open your mind for what's possible because it's all already been written. Everything has already been written in one book or another. I mean, like, how many times do I text you and say, man, I got this lesson. This book was in 1920. And you're like, yeah, no shit. Yeah. This is why I tell you to do this.
Yeah, I think we had a thread this week on a messaging with Elias, who never read for 10 years.
Now,
that I've known him. He
every
reads.
morning,
He sends me book snaps.
He's gonna send us. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Go back to episode 41. We talked about predictable revenue.
It's in this book. Look, the answer's right here. And I said, of course the answer's there because 99% of problems are people problems, and all of those have already been mapped out. Yeah. And I think the number one limiting belief that I see. You ready?
I'm ready. I have one. I'm going to say one that I want you to talk about. So go ahead.
Okay,
let's see
maybe
if
it's the same.
Let's see if
is
it's
this the same one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let's
see.
The number one limiting belief is luck.
Ooh,
Was
that's
that
not
no.
List? So bonus. Okay, you're going to get more heat on this episode.
All right. So the number one. So I went in on a tirade the other day about this on the Twitters because I posted something, and one of the things was it had something to do with luck.
Haters always say luck.
Oh my goodness, haters, public haters. And people who are disappointed with their own results always go to luck.
Luck.
You got lucky. Number one. I got lucky. You got lucky. That's the number one limiting belief. And so I want to break you, if you're listening to this, don't use the luck excuse, right? Because if you're listening to this on your $1,000 iPhone, right, you are lucky, right? If you're listening to this at all, even if it's not on a $1,000 iPhone, you have nothing but first world problems just like the rest of us, so you are by definition lucky. Lucky is an excuse that I hear from people all the time of like, oh, that person was in the right time, right place, they got lucky. Someone tried to have an argument with me about about Zuckerberg was lucky, this person was lucky, Jeff Bezos was lucky. I'm like, really? They're all lucky. Everyone's
Yeah.
lucky but you.
But that's
right?
the crazy thing. It's not just a first world problem like that we're all privileged. It's
Mhm.
about none of these stories. Everybody loves the 10-year. There's everything is the 10-year overnight success story. There isn't. Nobody actually got lucky.
No,
Or just
so they all
stumbled
tell me
into-
they're lucky.
Go read
And
Shoe
usually-
Dog. Go back. Go read Shoe Dog. Think about what Phil Knight
Totally.
had to
Yeah.
grind through to start
Mhm,
Nike.
mhm. And the ones, so everyone uses this excuse of, well, luck had a lot to do with it. Sure, luck had a lot to do with all of us being here. Luck had
Totally.
a lot to do with, as Warren Buffett says, of hitting the lottery and being born in America, right, at the time that we are, and being in a place where DG, who cannot figure out how to use a microphone stand or do anything handy, he's lucky because he was born in a time and place where his other skills, because he's really good at some other stuff, are valued.
Mm-hmm.
But if we went back, if you were born, 20, 50, 100 years before you were born, man, you would have been out of luck.
Nobody cares if you're good at Twitter 30 years ago.
No, exactly. You would have been in serious trouble.
Yeah.
Serious trouble.
Yeah.
If you would have. So we're all lucky. So
Mhm.
lucky is the thing not to use as an excuse, but to actually kill that limiting belief of these people were just lucky.
Love it.
Number
Okay.
one thing. And that limiting belief usually comes from people who are the most lucky, right? So I have these super lucky, super fortunate people all the time, especially on Twitter. They're all on Twitter. You're on Twitter. I'm watching you, right?
Yeah.
Who went to all the right schools, had all the right background, had all the opportunities, had all the right friends, and yet they're the first ones to talk about everyone else as being lucky.
Yeah.
Right.
The luck thing always drives me crazy because I also think luck is a separate topic, but there's things that you can do to enhance. It's funny how there's things you can do to make yourself luckier,
Mhm,
right? You can work harder. You can learn more. You can read more. You can be around the right
100%.
people.
Mhm.
It's funny how those people seem to get lucky more often.
Oh, crazy.
The,
And it's like one thing that I say to break this thing is go spend time around people who are actually not lucky, right? To build up some gratitude and some understanding of how fortunate you are, right? Go spend some time. There's plenty of people around you. You don't have to look very far who are not lucky. And then reset your context for what is luck and what is not luck.
Please. Okay, so the one you didn't mention.
All right.
There's one you didn't mention.
Hit me.
I don't know what you're doing on this phone.
I have notes over here.
Whoa!
not
I
for-
was going to say.
Not for this
I
podcast,
was
but I
like,
had
Damn.
some notes about a video that I was going to film, and it had
Chop
to do
this up into a clip. DC has notes.
first time ever. And I was going to film a video, and the video was called "Stop with the Luck Excuse."
Love it. Well, we just filmed a
look,
video. Let's cut this up.
and I had all this stuff.
This is great.
Yeah. So, and I missed this part here. Right.
You gotta write this down.
Look at this. Look at that. Everyone implying that they can do the same thing if they would just get lucky. Right?
Love it.
And that limiting belief is a lie. So stop lying to yourself, right? That's just like the degenerate gambler thinking that if my number comes up, then everything will be great. And just like that person, you're lying to yourself.
And I
Look at
love
that.
it.
I had notes there.
I love it. You're gonna have to
Is
send
that first time ever?
No, you must have. That's the result of either a long walk or a flight.
Yeah, long walk.
Yeah.
There we go.
I'm pretty good. Okay, no, the number one limiting belief
Yeah.
that you didn't mention is will it scale?
Woo! Okay, I got another.
That's
I
where
have
this
some more notes on
started.
that one.
You
Yeah.
tweeted. We
Yeah.
talked about.
Yeah.
We had a conversation about this. The
Yeah.
number one limiting belief is that everyone wants to say, yeah, no, but how does this scale or will it scale? And
Yeah.
that's a limiting belief.
Totally. That's inside of that one is very specific to working inside of a company, right? So the number one, I was having drinks with some friends of the podcast.
Yeah.
Ryan Deese, what's up,
Yeah,
homie?
yeah. Yeah.
Runs digital marketer, friend of ours,
Don't take
friend
it,
of the show.
Ryan, don't take it personally. DC can't pronounce anybody's name.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Oh,
It's Ryan
did I say
Dice. It's
Dice?
okay. Yeah.
Like
It's
roll
okay.
the
Nobody,
dice?
people don't know they don't pronounce your name right, so it's okay.
Yeah, they don't have those kind of names
It's
in
okay.
Queens.
It's
He's from Texas. So I've never seen the name. Sorry,
Yeah.
Ryan.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was having a drink with him,
Yeah.
and we were talking about this very thing here,
Yes.
which is this idea of will it scale, right? Because obviously I rant about it all the time, and he was saying that he had a talk just like this where he was saying, hey, the number one way to kill any initiative in any company is to utter these words. But will it scale?
Mm-hmm.
And that will kill any initiative within a company.
Mhm.
And so, of course, I went on a rant about this being this limiting belief, right? Which we all tell ourselves, which is like we want to kill something even before we give it life. And obviously, we believe in doing things that don't scale at Drift. and we repeat that over and over and over and over, and it always works. But most of you are killing initiatives
before it even starts.
Right? Because you're like, I don't know if it's going to scale, right? And even us, even us who talk about this all the time.
Crazy.
We had a meeting recently internally, and it was about launching some new program, and we were over-architecting it. And the reason we were over-architecting it was, and doing too much planning around it, was because we were scared about the scaling aspect of it. And obviously, Elias and I are of the same mind, and we're just like, can we launch that in 2 days?
Yeah, momentum makers versus perfectionists.
Yeah, let's launch it in 2 days. Let's see if it's a problem. If it's a problem, then we'll deal with the scaling issues. But most likely, most of the things that you're worried about launching will never hit scale and never be a true problem.
Or the good problems to have if we do. We had so many people interested in this one thing, then you have to go hire and build out a team around this. Great.
Awesome.
Great.
Let's find out.
I think like the DNA is like always, I think we're always trying to find a way of like, how can we do this with a landing page and a video and it takes 20 minutes and see what happens. The will it scale thing, I think that's the number one thing, is it kills so many things. Like the whole premise of it, just get started. If you think more about how's it going to scale, or you're planning for something that hasn't even happened yet.
Totally.
Right?
And I'm interested, when you're listening to this, tweet at us, LinkedIn at us, whatever you want to do. Hit us on LinkedIn and tell me what your top limiting beliefs are. Because for me, these are the two, right? Luck, and then will it scale within a company. So I want to hear that. I'm worried about one thing, though.
What are you worried about?
I hope you're worried about the same thing.
I heard a big gong out there. That's good.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
That was loud.
Yeah.
So I'm worried that we had this huge, in January, we had this huge jump in 6-star ratings.
We did.
Huge. It was out of control. Seems to be slowing down some. I went back and I looked through all those 6-star ratings. I did not see enough Amy and DHD shout-outs in there, right? So there's a problem here.
What the hell?
DHD and Amy working hard here. We need some shout-outs. Say what's up.
Please.
What's going on.
Yeah.
Tell them how much you love the videos. If you don't tell Amy and DHD that you love the videos and leave a 6-star review, no more videos for you. How's about that?
Damn. This is just for us. We're going to do it internally.
We're going to cut the videos.
I have one additional CTA.
Okay.
I don't know if I've dropped this with you yet.
Oh, another gong?
Another gong. That was smash.
Wow.
My ears are ringing. We're starting a Seeking Wisdom newsletter.
Oh, really?
Right now.
Okay. How do you sign up?
Go to drift.com /Seeking Wisdom.
Okay. One word. Okay.
One word. Drift.com /Seeking Wisdom. We're big fans of email and copy, and we figured like there's so much stuff that we don't talk about on the show, so we're going to start a newsletter from DC and I, where every week we send you things we're learning, things we're thinking about, books we're reading, articles we liked.
And we're only going to share this content with the newsletter.
Only. No, this is dead serious.
This isn't any bogus exclusive.
No, this isn't a fake exclusive. Mainly because we want to have a better connection with the Seeking Wisdom audience, right? It's hard. Podcast is hard. We feel it in the reviews. We feel it on Twitter. But we want that email one-to-one. We want to reply to everybody. So when you hear this right now, go to drift.com /Seeking Wisdom. 2 seconds, you'll subscribe. There'll be a bot there. You put in your email address. Subscribe. Yeah, a bot.
Okay. A conversational
powered
marketing?
by Drift. Conversational marketing.
Okay.
2 seconds.
Sure. And if you're if you want some special content in that newsletter, then make sure to leave those 6-star reviews, Amy, DHD in there. And if you leave enough of them, maybe I will help convince them to put some behind-the-scenes footage in that newsletter.
Ooh, I love that. Exclusive footage only. I might even have DC write a couple of these newsletters every now and then. He's pretty good. He can write.
I can write something.
It's been a minute.
Last thing.
Yeah.
HYPERGROWTH.
Oh my
2018. God. We have a goal. I'm trying to save DG. We have a goal of over 4,000 people in Boston, September 2018.
Yeah, Tuesday, September 4th.
Okay. And we have over 1,000 person goal for San Francisco version of HYPERGROWTH.
3 weeks later, we're getting on a plane. We're going to San Francisco.
Yep, September 24th.
Yeah.
And
there's another conference happening in town that week.
I haven't heard.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right.
So those two conferences, sign up. How do you sign up for HYPERGROWTH?
HYPERGROWTH.drift.com.
Okay.
But
sign up.
Use the promo code Seeking Wisdom.
Okay.
Tickets are going to be cheap the whole year, only on this podcast.
Okay, don't tell
anybody. The
anybody.
price will never increase. If you use the Seeking Wisdom promo code, you're going to get the best deal on the house.
Okay.
And let me tell you, we haven't shared this with the team internally here, but on Friday at Show and Tell, we're dropping the first batch of speakers that we have.
Okay.
And one cool thing that we're going to do different this year is that every speaker that we're going to have at HYPERGROWTH is going to come on the podcast.
No way.
every speaker's coming on the podcast from now until September. So look, if you don't buy your ticket now, that's fine. But I'm telling you, we're going to have a guest on. It's going to be so good that you're going to want to come see them for some different content in person. So that's the deal.
You shouldn't have told me that, because now I want to raise it.
You want to raise the goal?
I want to raise. No, hold on.
Because now you know what the marketing plan is. You want to raise.
No, we're not going to raise the goal. But what about if we do this?
Okay.
We choose. Not only will they come on the podcast.
Yep.
Not only will they speak.
I'm going to write this down.
But we maybe have a live Facebook Live or webinar live, whatever you want to do. YouTube Live. You choose the channel.
Yep.
Where we only open it up. Facebook Live only. Only open it up to people who have registered for Hypergrowth.
Wow.
They will be able to participate in a live Q&A with these speakers.
I love that.
Nobody else is going to get this. They're not going to see it. This is only going to be for people who sign up. Promo code Seeking Wisdom. Let's get it.
That's crazy.